Vinny D here, back with a fantastic video. So just get started right into it. This video was prompted with a conversation that I had with one of my friends at when we were out to get dinner, and I'm not really sure how the conversation got brought up, but essentially the idea, they had asked me, like, what was my conception of God and a higher power, and like how do I use and connect with this God and higher power, and I'm going to explain it in this video. So I've studied many different philosophies and different teachings around, God and the universe and the different spiritual laws of the universe and the power of our thoughts and the power of our words and how these things are very tangible. And really, the way I explained it to this friend was that, like, our thoughts are seeds, right? Like, our ability to think is our ability to create with our creator, with the higher power, with God, with the infinite intelligence. So I believe that our thoughts and our words, well, our thoughts are our ability to create and plant these seeds in our subconscious mind, which is in direct contact with infinite creative intelligence that's omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. It's in all, you can feel all, it is all. It's just, you can't escape that level of presence. And really, like, another thing that came up during this conversation with this person was like, well, like, how do I know? She asked me, like, how do I know what God's will is? And, like, the realization for me came through the understanding of, like, we all inherently know, unless you're just a complete psychopath, which if you are, I'm sorry if I offended you, but if you inherently, we know what actions we can take to be kind and loving and to be useful to the other people around us. It's basically just like goes back to that simple saying of, like, what would Jesus do? I'm not taking this to like a Christian standpoint necessarily. You can do that if you want to. I don't really care. But I mean, really, it's just asking yourself, like what would somebody 100 times smarter than me be doing? What would somebody more kind than I, running on my own self-will, be doing? Somebody more loving than me be doing in this scenario, any given scenario that we're facing? And, like, that's how I explained that I tap into what I believe to be God's will, is when I'm able to, in any given moment, I'm able to, like, slow down and say, okay, what would be God's will right now, and what, for me, what would be like a selfish, willful action that is not kind and loving, that is more focused on selfish, self-centered, self-seeking, and, like, disconnected, in separation from the unity and wholeness of, like, the collective, human fucking race, but really, I do believe that our thoughts are the seeds. Our thoughts are the seeds that get planted within our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind is in direct contact, I believe, with this infinite intelligence that kind of is that hidden hand of everything, and makes those, like, seemingly coincidental things happen in our external world that really we had no control over. Like, what we had control over was our ability to think constructively, right? Like, if we're thinking in a constructive, creative manner with our service to other people in mind, being kind and loving towards all, and emotionalized with love and gratitude, we are planting seeds in the subconscious of abundance, of love, and just of the life of God's kingdom. And that's the way I see it. But if we're living in fear, inconsideration, resentment, then that's when we are emotionalizing our thoughts and creating thoughts out of fear, out of resentment, and those are the seeds that are getting planted in the fertile fields of the subconscious mind. And if we're planting those seeds, God hears and sees all those things, right? It doesn't really matter what food you feed into the subconscious. Eventually it's going to take hold, and when it reaches the infinite intelligence, it's going to, by natural law, create whatever the nature of the thought that we have entertained and fed and watered and allowed to get sunlight. So if we're entertaining thoughts of fear and worry and resentment, then we are going to attract and project through our visual and other five senses we're going to attract experiences, situations, and relationships that are in correlation with this fear-based thinking, this resentment-based thinking, this worry-based thinking. But if we're sowing thoughts that are grounded in gratitude and love and faith, more gathers more. So if we're having high level, high vibe thoughts like that, the experience we're going to have with our five senses as we have created an imagination, we're just going to be more aligned with those type of scenarios, because specifically our thoughts that become emotionalized, that there's an emotional charge to them, eventually when thought and entertained repetitively enough times are become our character. And then our character, right, this is all kind of non-physical at this point, but our character, the identity that we hold, becomes our actions, and our actions are what attract the situation. So if I'm feeling fear, I'm entertaining fear-based thoughts, God's gonna say, yo, all right, this is what you want. Obviously, I've given you the ability to think and to speak. And if you are going to choose to use your ability to think and feel and speak in fear and resentment and worry, then I'm going to show you the projection of the thoughts. You're going to reap what you sow, essentially. And that's it, man. But we were given the gifts to think and to speak. And this is not a overnight thing. I think a lot of people get confused. I know I did with looking at the benefits of positive affirmations and self-belief and visualization, meditation. These things are good. I can tell you that, they're good. But you have to understand that this isn't oh, you do one visualization meditation or you say one positive affirmation and you're just cured. You have to understand that from years of programming, allowing people, things, and places in the external world to program you to believe and think a certain way about how life works, about what's possible for you, and has trained you on to be fearful, to be worried, to be afraid, to be more cautious. You have to realize, become aware of these negative beliefs and kill them. And in my eyes, that's how I truly get closer to my higher power and understanding the capabilities and the power that is available to me if I'm only willing to seek that power. This thing that I'm proposing of our thoughts being so powerful and what the seeds we're planting in our subconscious are actually growing into the reality that we're viewing through the power of infinite intelligence or God or the universe or whatever your conceptualization of that is. But this takes time. If I the best example I could say, like that tree right there, that tree started off literally as a tiny little seed. Like it didn't fucking, I didn't go out, like whoever planted that didn't go out there, plant it, and run out there the next, I mean, maybe they did, but you don't run out there the next day expecting the fucking tree to be fully grown. You understand that it takes time to grow the seed. Just because the seed is planted doesn't mean that it's going to stay, right? Their plants die all the time, but that's how you have to, these positive things that these prayers that you want God to help manifest in your life, you have to be giving these things focus. Like the focus, the concentration, the repetition of mental exercise is just like going out every single day and watering that plant and making sure that it's not going to be attacked by any sort of predator or pest, parasite, making sure that it's getting adequate sunlight, right? But that's what we have to do with these thoughts, is we have to foster them through repetition. And it truly is just like going to the gym. It's just like muscle memory. It's just like anything in life. Like you don't start off perfect, but you slowly and surely begin to entertain the correct thoughts. And the more these thoughts are in alignment with you becoming the person that you are supposed to be, that is being in the alignment with the higher power. Because the more of yourself that you are, the more useful you are to other people, and the more you are a channel through which infinite intelligence, God, the universe, the creator of all, can work through you, and you can be a vessel for this infinite power that we all have the ability to tap into at any given time, through our ability to talk and through our ability to think and imagine. So yeah, that's your thoughts, your subconscious, and God, and yeah, that's what I got for you today. Have a good one.